Film festivals represent Hollywood glamour, but do they still have the marketing power they used to? Today's guest, Amy Baker, can help us analyze the power of film festivals. Amy, welcome to the spotlight.
Thank you, Bobby. Nice to see you. Nice to be here.
Nice to see you. Look, and we're friends in real life, but did you appreciate the dramatic way that I started the episode? Do film festivals still have the
I
power?
do. I really appreciated it. I think that the film festivals are going to appreciate this episode as well because I'm going to be supporting them on a major scale here.
Yeah, no, and look, I mean, we're joking around, but it's also very true, right? Because I mean, I've been following. I actually used to be a programmer at a film festival for 5 years, but I've been following film festivals for decades, and I don't know anyone doing. I don't know the festival circuit the way you do. It's very original. But let's start at the beginning. Let's talk about film festivals generally. To me, you're one of the smartest people in the world at navigating them. So let's start with a provocative question. Do film festivals still matter?
The short answer, abso-freaking-lutely. Yes, absolutely. They matter more than ever because you know what it's like now. Content's everywhere. People are fighting for those eyeballs. They want to get your attention. But film festivals create this platform. It's like you can't replicate that through a Zoom or something. You have urgency, community, authentic cultural conversations, and it's in real time. So we're not doing it like this. Like I'd like to be hanging out with you in real time, and that's what you get to do with the film festivals. People can, all come together there.
And look, we're gonna get into like the nuances of your actual business because what you do is amazing. But I know that you've been working at the best festivals in the whole world for really for a couple decades. So in your view, like what separates the best festivals from the rest? Like what makes a good film festival?
Oh gosh, this is yeah, and this is a tough one, but I think like
Mm,
the best, the ones that are absolutely on the top of, all the studios, this is going to be our schedule for the year, but then also the independent producers and everyone, they have a clear identity. Their curation is specific with their vision. They stand for something. Can is known for champion filmmaking or filmmaker driven cinema. But then you have festivals like Toronto and Sundance, which are sweethearts because they are home of independent voices. And I think the festivals that kind of like the cream of the crop are the ones they have this clear identity of what they're doing. And programming matters enormously. But then you also have to think about, okay, the market, the side events, the parties,
mm.
it creates a destination other than just a screening schedule. So that this is on yours. You're going to be at Cannes, then you're going to be in maybe in Shanghai, or you're going to be in Toronto, then you're going to go to, you have your track, and it usually starts with Sundance and it ends towards the end of the year of terms of major ones with Toronto. So, yeah, it's I think a clear vision about what they're doing, who they're championing, and yeah, I think that's it.
Do you have a festival that you would say is your favorite, or is it you're not allowed to do it because you work with all these
Um,
festivals and
I do work with them all, but okay, so I'll say, of course, I'm gonna bring up can it's just gonna be like we should do a shot every time I say the word can because can is gonna come up a lot. It's like the number one festival in the world.
mm,
But that holds the biggest place in my heart because
mm.
everything began for my company on an international scale by attending that first event in Cannes 2010. So this is going to be my 16th year in Cannes.
Wow.
But so my first one was in 2010, and that single trip launched, my first event in Cannes. In a few weeks, in 2026, it's going to be our 16th year in Cannes. But there I met the Zurich Film Festival. They brought us on board. That was our first second I mean, our second international event, and, we had that relationship for 9 years, and
Wow.
I think that, that would be my favorite because of that, because, that kicked off everything internationally, but then there's other I have affection for Tiff. Toronto is like, there's this energy in Toronto, which and I'm sure you love that I'm saying this, but it feels genuinely inclusive. It's like the city embraces the festival in a way that every year feels like this is a moment,
Mm,
and it's something special. It's actually one of the only festivals where I get to see a lot of films also, so
mm.
I gave you 2 answers, but it was hard. I should ask you, what's your favorite?
Any festival you're at, because I know that you
Oh,
only go to the great ones. We got 3 more segments with Amy Baker on the spotlight. Welcome back to the spotlight. I'm here with Amy Baker. Okay, Amy, Winston Baker. We've talked about this in my last show, Open Source. You came on that. Winston Baker, sounds like a lawyer or a doctor or something, but it's not. This is your business. Let's talk about your business because it's really exciting what you're doing. I don't know anyone in the whole world doing what you're doing. Tell me about Winston Baker.
okay. Well, for over 17 years, we've been specializing in producing educational events, networking opportunities, specifically for the entertainment industry, and bringing together like the world's leading finance and entertainment executives. But we'll cover, you know, film, television, the confluence of entertainment and technology and how they come together. We'll talk about music sometimes, depending on the event, sports entertainment, which is also huge. But I think that the exciting stuff that we're really doing now is around that. We call it our Shifter series. We started a kind of like a spin off, but we incorporate it. And that is, people shifting the narrative and talking. It's definitely at that intersection of tech and entertainment and what's happening, but also people that are disrupting in the best way possible this industry. And I think we the goal though is to the goal has always been to engage and inspire, this
Right.
community for sure.
No, you definitely do. And look, I was at your event at Tiff last year, and it was fantastic. Which everything you do is amazing, so I wasn't surprised. But you do something really interesting. This is why, like, I always knew I wanted you. Every show I do, I want to get Amy Baker, right? But for my new entertainment show, I was like, okay, I definitely wanted you about film festivals because I really don't know anyone navigating film festivals the way you do it. So why is it? Because you've got such an interesting content strategy. Why do you focus on film festivals so specifically?
Well, I mean, it's for us especially, it's gold, I feel. Film festivals are where the industry concentrates, the decision makers, the deal makers. You have the creative visionaries, and they're all in one place for a specific amount of time. So it's an extraordinary opportunity to convene meaningful conversations. If you had to set all these meetings or try to even get in the room with all these people, it's gonna take a long time if it happens at all, right? And so here you're already unlocking that potential to just have, authentic conversations with people. Everyone has the same goal, they're there to celebrate and to move forward their projects, but to celebrate the industry as a whole. So I
Mhm.
think, it goes it goes beyond the festival. It becomes, from thousands of people that have an you never know. I mean, I've even said it at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can just run into someone. I just met someone the other day that came on at the last minute for the Brutalist because they met someone in Cannes at 2 o'clock in the morning leaving a party. So you never know who you're going to run into and just start these conversations. It's really a unique place to do that.
Well, especially, I mean, you must know so many people from going to these festivals for 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. So, what kind of impact do these festivals make on your business?
Oh, they've literally expanded our world. One of the things that I'm very proud of is that our presence at these major film festivals have opened doors for us that we didn't even have to knock on. Like, for example, Saudi Arabia, Busan, South Korea, they approached us. They saw us. They were
Mm.
at the festival. They saw our content. They came up after and said, "We want to bring that experience home. So, how can we do that?" So, I mean, that's powerful to show up. If we show up consistently, we do quality work, then we're going to have people coming to us. It's not like we're always out there looking for, oh, where's our next place? Although I will say there has been times that, I've looked at a map and go, where do I want to go next? Something
Mm.
like that.
So we only have a minute before the break. It's interesting, like I think about you a lot because I'm like you. To me, you are one of the most underrated people in Hollywood. But what
Um,
you're doing is so interesting, and I don't know if you know about this movie. I have a theater background, right? I was a playwright. I've written many plays, and I almost view what you're doing like this sort of like touring production, like Amy Baker Productions, and then it's like now in Korea, now in Saudi Arabia. Like, what do you think of that
yeah.
analogy?
I mean, I love it. bring it on. I mean, I definitely feel that a global footprint is important because I'm all about
Mhm.
crossing borders and content to travel. So that's what we need to do in order to help, facilitate that.
Right, and there's something powerful because your events are live, right? Not just like networking, which we're gonna get into in the next segment, but the content itself. That's why, like for me, it almost feels like theater. And I think in the age of I think live events like yours are only gonna 2x, 3x. It's very exciting. We've got Amy Baker for 2 more segments on the spotlight. Welcome back to the spotlight. I'm here with Amy Baker. Okay, Amy, let's talk networking. I mean, you're flying all over the world. You're in demand. You're at all these festivals. And look, you have a really, really interesting business, but also, I do talk about you quite a bit, to be honest. And I think, in my view, I think you're one of the most connected people in the whole business in the whole world. I really do think that because of the way that you set up this really, really interesting business. Let's talk about networking though. Like, how valuable is networking in the film industry?
It's it's everything. It's foundational. I mean, the entertainment industry runs on relationships. Who you know determines what projects you hear about, who is willing to take your call, and ultimately what projects get made sometimes in greenlit. And that's sad because I've been in the room with a lot of times, with people that are very independent and they don't have those connections. So it just seems like a daunting thing to have to, put their project out there when they don't know who's the person to call. They're just keep getting these roadblocks. So talent matters enormously always. Content, we've been seeing this for years, and I've said it, but content is queen, right?
Mhm,
But trust is built through these relationships over time, for sure.
mhm.
That's going to be important, and I think that there are ways to break through, and that's what we try to do on the platform a lot of time is connect a lot of the people and these new voices that may not be completely connected.
And look, we've talked about it a little bit before, but more specifically, like why are film festivals so valuable for networking?
Well, and you've experienced this too, Bobby. It's like they create this global village for a week or two, and we all joke that it's like we're at summer camp, And I have my
Mhm,
festival family, and I see you, especially if I go to Toronto or something. I see certain friends when I'm in Berlin or Cannes or Venice. It becomes a community that you all look forward to. Like okay, in June we're going to be here, in July, like I said earlier. So in a normal scenario, building these relationships that you can make in 1 week and could take years.
mhm,
Everyone's accessible. The doors are open. I joke about even, it sounds very bougie, but yacht hopping. If you go to a party, say you get invited to a cocktail, maybe an after event cocktail on someone's boat, it's very likely that once you're hitting it off that you'll get invited to another one because they're all lined up
mhm,
and you'll go to that and you'll go to this. So it's conducive to this authentic and genuine networking. And there, I think it's not a stereotype of like, okay, let me put my resume or my card in your face. No, it's
right.
it's very connected. It can lead you to a lot of things. Like I said, from that example of the woman that met the woman who became the producer, the last producer on board for The Brutalist. It's happened with me when I've met people and started talking about what I do, then getting invited to Singapore or wherever to, bring and build content for their events.
Right. Look, I don't know if I'm just like your number one fan. Like I need to start the Amy Baker fan club or something. But I actually also think that you're one of the best networkers in the whole business. Because like sometimes, like, we'll talk business or friendship, like we know each other in real life. But then sometimes I'm like, oh my God, we just did business. And it's like I don't even know because you're so good at just like talking and being yourself. And I don't know what it is. You found this balance between being authentic, but also getting things done. So what is the secret to effective networking, in your opinion?
Oh gosh, you are so kind, Bobby. And I wish I could take you everywhere in the world with me because you feel like you're the hype man that I
Right?
need here. I love it. I really think that I come with genuine curiosity rather than an agenda.
Mm,
I'm very interested in people, the story, the backstory, the projects that they're working on. Obviously, I cannot read every script, and I do get a ton of scripts and things like that. But I think
mm,
it's the biggest thing I would say is, and advice that has been given to me is listen. Listen when you're talking to someone, pay attention to them like they're the only one in the room. We've all been in that situation where you're sitting down with someone at dinner, even on a date, and it's so awkward because you can tell that that person is just like focused on whatever else is going on in the room, and I think that that's not good. I do think that it's helpful if you just pay attention, and you're going to learn so much about somebody. And there's so many interesting people out there doing really cool stuff, so it just will flourish. But then the next tool I would say is to follow through. Just because you've met them and connected, now you got to make sure you reach out, send a text message. Invite someone to coffee. Don't leave it at that. You definitely have to, go with the follow through. And I think that's like one of the foundations that we've had with the company for nearly 18 years now.
It's amazing because it really is simple advice, but, like, nobody does it, you know? So, I don't know, you just have a great way of just being human, and authentic, and we've got Amy Baker for one more segment on the Spotlight. Welcome back to the Spotlight. I'm here with Amy Baker. Okay, Amy, we are in hour 95 of the Amy Baker special. We're in grade 4. You stole the cupcakes. We got it on video. It's not okay. Look, Amy, you've done so many things in the business, also even outside of the business. You were very accomplished. You were a model. I think you like worked in finance. You did like all kinds of stuff, right? I think you could probably do whatever you want. So what's next for Amy Baker?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. The natural answer, and that I've been, I think, thinking about for quite a long time, is producing content. And it's funny because one of my old partners used to say, "Are you crazy? You've sat in through all these conversations. You've listened to so many people talk about the terrible things that go on in this industry. Why would you want to, do that?" But I think it's because I have heard so many incredible stories,
Mm.
and I've been interested in participating at some level. So I've just started dipping my toes in. I thought I was going to do it. I announced that I was going to do it back in 2019, and right before, like at the end of the year, and then obviously we took a long pause. So I was rethinking that, and now it's something I really want to do. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Look, I think you'd be a brilliant producer. I think every 6 months I just text you randomly. I'm like, let's produce something together. But I assume you just get these all the time because it's very obvious. Like you know everybody. You're so good to work with. You're so smart. You know all the connections. You see the business. I think you'd be excellent. It's interesting too. I interviewed a very established Hollywood producer today. You know, we shoot 4 episodes in a day. My first episode was that, and he was actually very optimistic, which surprised me. So what is your take? I know you're a very optimistic person, but you're also very honest. But there's been a lot of stress and bad headlines for Hollywood specifically. So how do you see the next chapter playing out for Hollywood? Are you positive? Are you negative? Like where do you land?
I'm always positive. Glass is always half full. That's how I
Yeah.
am. And part to answer this question, but also to add on to the last question was in producing. I have been doing this for years. Is introducing kind of the money with the project and things like that. Now at a different level, I'm introducing money with certain funds. So
Mm,
that's been a new jump. But I think that's why I'm optimistic. Also, I do see that there is an influx of people that want to invest, like serious investments, big investments into funds to kind of also mitigate the risk and things like that. But I do think that, we do have to pay attention. I mean, Ben Affleck came out recently saying about you have to make a $25 million film, you need like $100 million in order to cover like
mm,
the P&A and the marketing, and in order to like make money for them to
mm.
then start making money. So that is daunting, but I appreciate the realness of that conversation. So I know it's not easy, but I do think that it's possible. And we have, AI is not taking over the world. If anything, AI is helping the underdog have some tools that may have been more expensive in the past.
Look, you got to come back because I mean your perspective is so high level, decades of experience. How do you wrap this up? You know, I mean, there's a lot of people who are so uncertain, but I'm starting to hear more positivity about the film industry. What are your final thoughts on all this?
Gosh. I mean, persistence, persistence. If you passion, you have to, it takes so much, to get that green light, right? But I think also going to these festivals, even smaller local festivals, have so much importance because you can go and listen to people that were just in your position, very independent, and what they had to go through. And you can learn a lot from that, of what it took for them. But you have to believe in your project. You have to know it inside and out. You have to also be willing to take some criticism and maybe make some, a lot of people don't want to make changes um, or if you're like, "No, I absolutely want this person as the director and whatever," then you have to be able to back that up with why. Why are you, when people push back. But, yeah, I would say just keep being persistent, be passionate. There's so many stories out there that we haven't heard yet that the world wants to hear.
Amy, you're awesome. Please come back anytime.
Thank you, Bobby.
There are so many film festivals, probably too many, but in an industry that celebrates community, perhaps film festivals are precisely what the film industry really needs. We'll see you next time on The Spotlight.